Dear students, welcome to the online classes program of Higher Education Department, Punjab. It is Department of English Language and Literature of Govt Postgraduate College, Attock. Here, I am Sharif Zahid, Assistant Professor of English. Well, gentlemen, in the last lecture, we had an brief introduction of the writer D.H. Lawrence. And today we are about to start the lesson from its text. Let us have the salient features of this lesson first. It is a symbolic lesson which teaches us lesson. What is that? Not to be disappointed in life, even if we are to face the worst circumstances. This period of miseries and sorrows will come to an end, and definitely it comes to an end. The famous poet P.B. Shelley says in his ode, at the end of that ode, that if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Perhaps these two metaphors D.H. Lawrence took from this line. To winter, he describes as a symbol of death as well in this article. And winter may be the period of difficulties in life when one is overstressed and some of the time he may be discouraged. He may go hopeless, dejected. He may leave his efforts. So the writer teaches us a lesson that not to be disappointed in life. If today we are passing through this period, which is period of sorrows, miseries, to which he calls winter, so definitely the period of happiness, success, and period of suffering season will follow it. So he starts this lesson from the falling of the snow, and he says that this frost held for many weeks. After a long period of falling snow, the birds started cooing. They came out of their hedges where they were hiding themselves from the hard frost, and throughout the wintry season they passed in that difficult way. But now the birds felt that chilly weather, extremely chilly weather has passed, and now there is a change in the weather. That change may be slow, but the change was felt by the birds. Whistling of birds means that they have started crying, chirping, cooing. The birds in this way do send a message to human beings that if we are not dejected, we are not hopeless, why do human beings feel like that? So the suffering bestows us a type of new courage, an enthusiasm, a revitality, a life, and a bravery. So, coming of suffering season is primarily a creative activity. We must engage ourselves during this difficult period when we face so many hardships. We must engage ourselves in some activity which is creative, that he has termed equal to suffering. So, which gives us a new spirit, or at least we feel that we are contributing in the rebuilding and reconstruction of society. So, under the heavy frost, during that season, one feels as dead one. D.H. Lawrence teaches us that we should not feel as a human being that our all the abilities have gone dead. No, it is not the case. up to the extent that he says that even the birds who saw in their surrounding the skeleton of their dead ones, who are their ancestors, maybe their fellows, and of course their relatives, they do not go disappointed even after watching the skeleton of their near ones and dear ones. Even despite watching the skeleton, they start chirping, they start cooing, they come back to life. So, facing all this period of life, we must also come back to life. In suffering, we must sing whether we like it or not. It means we should start creativity. We must engage ourselves in something which is constructive, which helps the society, which serves the humanity. So we may not be the leader one, we may be the follower in that activity. So what? The suffering means taking birth, and taking birth means enjoying life and not to be disappointed. Suffering becomes pleasant with the change in the atmosphere. If we do not wish to leave that society, that atmosphere, how that change will come about? Will that change take place? It seems that if we are unwilling, so no change will take place. Despite sufferings, sorrows, difficulties of the hard season to which D.H. Lawrence declares as winter season. Winter, symbolically he says that it is something which is difficult period of life. So we will have to forget that sorrowful past. We will have to ignore for a while, and we must start a new life. If winter is the symbol of destruction, then of course suffering is the symbol of life. They cannot go. Life and death cannot go side by side. One has to defeat the other. It is the law of the nature. So, from the writer's point of view, death cannot defeat life completely. It means in anyone's life, there may be a period of sorrows, sufferings, difficulties, and it is but natural that one gets dejected and disappointed as well. It is a part and parcel of our life. But one should not be completely disappointed, because to winter season, as he says, that it is not the end of life, means it will pass away, and there is no possibility of the mutual existence of life and death simultaneously. Of course, difficult period of life comes in our life but does not long last. It has to go away. It has to break away, and definitely it passes. Of course, it leaves very sorrowful signs and symptoms in our life, to which we remember and recall most of the time. But of course, suffering comes, morning comes after the night. So, no matter if we are torn apart, if we feel ourselves as ruined one, if we are very mutilated, so what? It is the beauty of the human being that he has to create vitality from ruins. He has to bestow beauty to this world. D.H. Lawrence, through whistling of birds, shows love for nature. And what is love for nature? It is all our surroundings that is filled with nature. So we must not be disappointed. This is very You may say this lesson is a part and parcel of our life. We must not sink in difficulties. We must not embrace the hopelessness in our life. Of course, if we come across, maybe, and everybody has to accept this hard reality of life, separation of some near ones and dear ones. Of course, it has an impression and obsession on our mind, but we must come out from this phase of life. Otherwise, we will be destroyed. So, this was a brief introduction of the lesson we are to start, and we shall start this textual reading in the next lecture. Thank you very much for happy watching and patient listening. Allah Hafiz.